suffered a major stroke just days before he was due to travel to the UK for the Queen's Jubilee. Thomas Markle was rushed to hospital in California and is believed to be unable to speak. Meghan and her dad had a very public falling out. They haven't spoken for 4 years, and he's never met his grandchildren, Archie and Lilibet. Harry and Meghan are due in London for the Jubilee celebrations next week. So, should Meghan Markle reach out to her dad and reconcile the differences? Sharon, look, you have experience of estranged and difficult relationships with, you know, your own parents. Is it something that, I mean, first of all, is it any of our business? And secondly, is it something that she should do?
Well, they both brought it to the public, so it is our business now to have an opinion on it. And the situation is, you just think about her children. They have no family. They have their grandmother, Meghan's mum. That's it. There's no cousins, no aunts and uncles, no other grandparents. There's 2 little babies that have grown up that will never meet or know their cousins because they're not growing up with them. Just think about those kids. No family, mum, dad, and 1 grandma. And that is a terrible thing. But the other thing is, should she go to her father? Yes, she should. I didn't talk to my father for 18 years. Okay, he used me in his companies and all of that. Millions and millions I had to pay because my father got me in the crap. But the situation is, when he was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, I went to him and took care of him because he's my father.
And what, I mean, that's an incredible story, and it must have been tremendously hard to do that. So how on earth does somebody like Meghan Markle, who is clearly in her own bubble and perhaps consumed by whatever's going on in her life or Harry's life or who only knows, and then this sort of strange world in which they live, how on earth does she see sense that she's missing out on these things which are super important? You know, all the other stuff, the money, the Netflix, you know, the public persona, all this nonsense that we sort of see. There's circus and shambles of a life. How on earth do you get through and say, look, this is what you're missing?
Well, you would hope that she would come to her own senses and say, my father might die, and I want to make peace before he dies. That would be the natural thing, and I'm sure she will. I'm hoping that she will.
I highly doubt she will, actually. And this is the first time I actually really disagree, and I don't think she should even be bullied or encouraged or anything to do that, because I think, and I'm usually not one to defend Meghan Markle, right, because I do think there's loads of things that she's done that have been flawed, but her father and her horrid half-sister have taken every opportunity they've had to go to the media to talk about how much they dislike Meghan, all the horrible things about her.
No, I haven't.
No, but I'm sorry, as a father, you're your child's first protector. If I had any sort of issues with my own father, but I knew that he was going to the media every chance he got to slag me off, there is no way I would even be encourage that conversation to reconcile, because you can't trust him. That's disloyal.
But the thing is, someone's on their deathbed. On their deathbed.
But actions have consequences. How can I trust you? How can I even want to be in a room with you? You chose taking petty money for media appearances than your own daughter.
Hang on a second. So, Sharon, look, you've been through this. How hard was it for you to make that step, to have that conversation, despite all the 18 years, the difficulties, the money, everything else that you're feeling, to make that call to say, I'm going to be the bigger person, I'm coming to you? How hard was it?
Really hard, because he broke my heart. He was the only man that I ever loved until I met my husband, who I was in love with. But I loved my father. Everything was about my father. And when I'd realised what he was doing to me, it was as if my father had died then. I pined for him. I was angry with him, but yeah, I pined for him. I missed him in my life. But when somebody is on their deathbed, for you, it's for you, not for him. And how did it's for you to make amends.
And how did he respond when you went forward and when you went to speak to him and see it?
Unfortunately, he had already got Alzheimer's quite badly, but he would go in and out. But, you know, just a terrible, terrible thing.
Just very quickly, whatever anybody thinks, and we actually agree on this because we talked earlier, I feel great sympathy for Thomas Markle.
Yeah.
I think you can talk about cheap money and you're completely wrong. I think this man had no idea. I think the world's press, imagine if your daughter marries a prince. I think she has totally disrespected Dad. I have great sympathy for him. I think he was naive at best, and I think the very least she should do is get outside of a bubble and go to her dad. Do I think she will? No, but I don't blame Thomas Markle at all.
No.
Genuinely, do you?
No, I'm completely with you. I think that he needs to be left alone to recover.
Coming up, this is definitely not my subject.